We spend so much time talking about this, and I wonder what's making you invest in it now. Why are we all so consumed with our own mortality?
Well, as people get older, they generally want to live longer. Most people do. I think it's been going on for a millennium. But now we have the ability with medications and pharmaceutical products and lifestyle changes to actually affect how long we live. So in the year, let's say 400,000 years ago, when humans were coming out of caves as Homo sapiens, the life expectancy was 20. Today in the United States, the life expectancy is roughly 77. But somebody born today from a good zip code, good ethnicity, can probably live to 85 to 90. But people today who are already in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, what they want to do is live longer. And it's possible now because of drugs, more knowledge about weight, more knowledge about pharmaceuticals, more knowledge about so many different lifestyle changes that one could adopt, that you can live longer. And so this series is about how people can affect the time that they spend on the face of the earth. So that's what it's all about.
We selected that clip on GLP-1s, which has been such a fascinating story over the past couple of years. David, a cure-all. If you ask certain people, everything from fatty liver to diabetes to obesity to sleep apnea. Have we ever seen something like this that's been approved for so many things? And to what extent does this advance our conversation about advancing our age?
Well, we all remember in school that penicillin was discovered as an accident. And we later learned that penicillin turned out to be one of the great miracle drugs of all time and saved many, many lives, of course, around the world, and still does. GLP-1 drugs were originally designed to deal with diabetes and the effects of diabetes. But it turns out that they have more significant effects than just dealing with diabetes. They can also make you lose a fair amount of weight in a way that's responsible. But also they can probably extend your life. And now more and more research is being done to show that GLP-1 drugs can probably save you many, many years on the face of the earth. You can live longer. And so many, many doctors are now beginning to prescribe it, not just for obesity, but for other related things that people can deal with.
You're no stranger to politics, of course, David Rubenstein, and I'm wondering if it's possible in this political climate we're in to talk about health in an era when Donald Trump's talking about MAHA and RFK Jr.'s questioning certain sciences, if it's possible to talk about our health without bumping into politics.
Well, in Washington, D.C., everything revolves around politics to some extent. But generally, the most important thing I think we should recognize is that the purpose of government is to promote the general welfare. That's what it says in our Constitution. And what promotes the general welfare better than helping people to live longer and living healthier? And that's what health is all about. We have the finest medications in the United States, the finest health care in the United States. We just to make sure that people get access to it. And that's what the debate often is about in Washington. Who's going to get access to the health care and how much are they going to pay for it? But what I'm trying to do with this series is just be sure people realize that it is possible. Through changing your lifestyle, through taking some medications, you can live longer than you otherwise would live. And that's something that generally people all over the world want to do more than anything else. People want to have a happy life, a healthy life, and a longer life.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty remarkable how simple that is. And you wonder what happens to GLP-1s, what else they could be approved for if there's an oral version or so forth. But David, there's a lot of debate in Washington right now about a number of things, including pharmaceuticals, including whether they should be tariffed, as I said at the beginning of our conversation here. And I have to ask you about the way the market is looking at all of this, because you're David Rubenstein. When you see the markets continuing to see new highs in the face of such uncertainty as we've been told, what do you make of this moment, the psychology in the markets, knowing that August 1st is less than 2 weeks away? Is this market more sophisticated, a better sense of what's real and what's noise than the political class in Washington?
Well, the market generally is a pretty good indicator of what people are thinking. As a general rule of thumb, I think most CEOs in most large companies today do not know what the impact of tariffs is really going to be. And so it really hasn't factored in that much yet to most companies. Many of the companies that my own firm has under our control don't yet see the need to raise prices to deal with the tariffs because the tariffs aren't yet solidified in terms of what they're going to be. But I think most people in the market generally think the tariffs will be tolerable, and probably some prices can be passed along and maybe some others can't. But I don't think most people feel that the tariffs are now a barrier to continued economic growth.
That's fascinating. How about the idea of Donald Trump as chairman of the board, having seen him make moves on specific companies? But take a look at what he's said about Tim Cook, for instance, at Apple. It's time to move your manufacturing here, and I need you to do it by this date. David is the co-founder of Carlyle. How should board members or people in the C-suite prepare for that type of environment?
Well, there is a manufacturing deficit now in the United States. There's no doubt that manufacturing has moved offshore over the last 20 to 30 years because it's very efficient to manufacture things at lower prices offshore. There's no doubt that many CEOs are now beginning to onshore some manufacturing, but we have to be realistic about it. It takes many, many years to build manufacturing facilities in the United States, so it may be some time before much manufacturing is going to come back here. But I suspect some companies are going to manufacture some things in the United States they otherwise would not, but some are going to give lip service to it, and some are not really going to pay that much attention to it. In the end, I suspect there will be more manufacturing in the United States 3 or 4 years from now than there is today, but a lot less than there was 20 or 30 years ago.